Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tasia and I am a communication strategist by day and a content creator by night. And today we're going to be talking about YouTube and specifically about YouTube tags. I have seen a number of big YouTubers out there starting to talk about tags and talk about how irrelevant or relevant that they actually are in getting your YouTube video traction and getting them viewed and searched in the YouTube algorithm. So I started doing my own research and to try to figure out whether YouTube tags still really matter in 2021, and I'm going to be talking and diving into this today. So if you're a YouTube content creator, then you know very well that it's so important for us to try to figure out how to get our videos watched, because that is the whole purpose of why we put videos out there. We were hoping that they are useful and connect with somebody out there and wants to watch them. But it is always the elusive YouTube algorithm that seems super frustrating, because people are trying to figure out what do you need to do to get picked up in YouTube search or suggested by the YouTube algorithm. Even in my last video where I talked about YouTube SEO, we're always talking about a number of things: your description, your thumbnail, your title, your tags, and keywords. Now, I have seen more and more in the last little bit of people starting to question the relevancy of YouTube tags. I've seen Catherine Manning, as well as Annie Dubé and other YouTube specialists, and they've started talking about whether they feel YouTube tags are actually relevant or not. So I got super curious about this and I started to do my own research. I checked out a couple of people who actually work for YouTube, and they started saying that when it comes to getting picked up in the YouTube algorithm, that the only things that generally really matter are your title, your description, and thumbnail. I noticed over and over again as they had these interviews, they specifically did not mention that tags were important. The next thing I noticed that in the YouTube interface, that when you're uploading a video, I noticed that tags all of a sudden became something that is hidden. So if you've noticed that when you're uploading your video, it's going to ask you what your title is, what your description box is, and all that information, your thumbnail, and then there is this like click more option, and that is where the tags are, which seems really odd that if tags are super important, then why are they now hidden? Why do you have to do an extra click to even be able to see them? So that started to make me think that maybe it is true, the rumors are real, and that maybe YouTube tags don't really matter that much anymore. The third clue that I picked up in terms of figuring out how relevant YouTube tags are anymore is that if you actually go to YouTube in their help section and you look up all of the information out there that they give out to their users, there is an actual paragraph specifically talking about tags, and let me read it to you. It says, tags are descriptive keywords you can add to your video to help viewers find your content. Your video's title, thumbnail, and description are more important pieces of metadata for your video's discovery. These main pieces of information help viewers decide which videos to watch. Tags can be useful if the content of your video is commonly misspelled. Otherwise, tags play a minimal role in your video's discovery. So that's pretty huge. If YouTube itself is saying that tags play a very minimal role in getting your videos picked up, then that is telling us that YouTube tags are really not what they used to be, and they might not be as important as we originally thought that they were. Now, I know that some YouTubers have even started to experiment with not posting any sort of tags in their videos. I find it's a little difficult to figure out whether that's helpful or not, because some of these YouTubers are already massive, and I feel like for a lot of YouTubers who are on that scale, if they basically sneeze, any video that they put out there still seems to get picked up with the YouTube algorithm. So I'm not sure if that's entirely helpful, but it'll be interesting to see some of these YouTubers test out whether tags are important or not, and I'm considering doing the same on my channel to see if my videos still get picked up even if I don't bother to put out a tag. Okay, so if tags don't matter anymore, then what are you supposed to be doing to get your videos picked up in the YouTube algorithm? So let's go through all of the things that still do matter. Number one, focus on your title and description. So the actual interface when you load up your video on YouTube should really give you the clues of what really matters to the YouTube algorithm. The very first thing it asks you for is your title. So the very second thing it asks for is your description. So those are the two number one things that you really do need to focus on. So make sure that you're writing a very catchy title and make sure you are filling up that description box. Do not leave it blank. Do not just throw in in one sentence in there, make sure that that description box is filled up with as much information to lead people and give them the breadcrumbs they need to find your video. Number 2 is to do your research. Even though tags don't seem to matter anymore, it does not mean that extensions out there like TubeBuddy or vidIQ who help you find keywords are not so useful. Just because tags don't matter doesn't mean that keywords don't. And I think that maybe some people might confuse the two. The tags are simply the different search terms and titles or keywords that you would put into the tag box, versus keywords are the actual words that people tend to search for in the YouTube search bar. And those are just as important now more than anything. You want to make sure that you are putting keywords into your title and into your description. So if you might be thinking, hey, if tags don't matter, then having those extensions like TubeBuddy out there doesn't really help. Actually, they still really do, because they'll still help you find the keywords that you need, and you should be using those keywords to write your titles and description. Number 3 is definitely all about your thumbnail. You still want to make sure that you're putting out a really important thumbnail now more than ever. And again, even those keywords are going to matter in your thumbnail, because YouTube does have the ability to scan a thumbnail and figure out what is going on in that thumbnail to determine whether this is a good video to put out there for everyone to see. So make sure that you are still putting a catchy thumbnail out there. And if anything, sometimes in my opinion, a thumbnail probably matters more than a title or a description, because people determine within like 3 seconds whether they want to click on your video or not. And mainly that's determined by your thumbnail. They're going to scan and their eyes go to what's visual first. So they go to that thumbnail first before they read your title, before they ever get to your description. So therefore, make sure that you're putting a catchy thumbnail, because that is what determines your click-through rates. The next thing that I'm going to say is super important is make sure you're still saying the keywords in your YouTube videos. Make sure that you're targeting the keywords that you want this video to get picked up for in the actual video itself. If you put out a video out there about, like, I don't know, your latest Amazon haul, and you never once say the word Amazon through the entire video, YouTube is less likely to pick up that video and send it out, because when YouTube is scanning through your video to create the closed captioning, if it doesn't actually ever hear the word Amazon, it's more likely to think that maybe your video is clickbait, that if your title and your description talks about Amazon but you never actually do, it might think that you are trying to dupe the YouTube algorithm. So make sure that if you are talking about something important, for example, in this video, I'm talking about YouTube tags and how relevant they are, make sure that you're actually using those terms in the video. That's it. That is my little update about what I've discovered in terms of YouTube tags and whether they are relevant in helping your videos get picked up in the YouTube algorithm. It looks like YouTube tags are essentially being phased out by YouTube, but perhaps if you still want to pop tags in there to help you sort of just organize your thoughts and your keywords, go ahead. I hope this video was useful. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I will see you next week. So if your thumbnail, no, excuse me, why does this look so dark? I feel like my screen is just getting darker and darker. Let's try that again.